So non-dualism is really just a map of reality. It is not reality. The territory is out there, regardless of what the map says. And to be quite frank, non-dualism is more like an umbrella of different maps, pointing to roughly the same thing, that everything is made of one fundamental fabric, and it's something like consciousness or oneness or emptiness or words, whatever you want to call it. But they're close enough so they can end up under the umbrella of non-dualism, that the individual self is not so central as we think it is. And that everyone and everything is basically made up of the same thing. And when I speak about non-dualism, I usually mean analytical idealism. But I find it interesting to speak about it as an umbrella because I'm actually more interested in the territory than in the map themselves. And let me share my perspective and see if this resonates with you. I love thinking about reality, trying to figure out what it is, trying to understand it. But ultimately, I can only try and understand it with my thoughts. And thoughts appear in reality, so there's like a limitation happening. I'm trying to understand the bigger picture by using something that appears within the bigger picture. It's going to be wrong. I will never be able to capture reality within a thought. And that basically means that whatever map I manage to draw up is not going to be every detail of the territory. And it's kind of cool collecting maps, understanding different maps. But to just gather them and hold on to them, well, that's not really the big adventure, at least not for me. The real harvesting of these maps is when we go out and measure them with reality. If I navigate according to this map, will I find the stuff that it's pointing to? And the same is true for models of reality. They're models, they're going to be flawed. The question is, are they accurate enough to help guide me through the terrain? And the terrain in this case is reality, life, basically. And it's so sneaky because anytime we interact with the world, we're operating on some kind of a rough map. And most of the time, we're not even aware of what map we're operating against, or like how we're navigating. Just this idea of how do I make myself happy? Well, I will become happy if I go see a really great movie in the cinema. I might experience happiness, but this belief is what's guiding me to go to the cinema. It's not a very, defining moment in my life going to the cinema. I mean, it might have been back in the days when there weren't lots of cinemas around, but I've been going to the cinema my whole life. I don't even remember half of the times. But still, me making that decision is based on some belief about reality, about how I find happiness, what I find enjoyable. And that might be true if it delivers happiness for me, if I get what I search for. But if I don't, then it's kind of a useless thing to keep navigating after. And I find myself this inquiry into what's actually motivating me now? What am I trying to achieve with this? Well, first of all, it's quite interesting. But second of all, it helps me get closer to getting these things that I want more of in my life. Like love, belonging, peace, freedom, happiness, creativity, connection, passion. I don't actually really want to collect more references of cinema movies. No, I want more aliveness. Well, not necessarily, like, not aliveness. Like, I want to live life to the fullest. I want the flavor of life. That's what I really want. And watching a movie is my strategy of getting that, if that's the map I follow. And what non-dualism suggests is that the external world cannot really provide us with any of these things. It doesn't come from the outside. We're it. I am the source of my happiness. I'm the source of love, of peace, of freedom. And if I go look for it in the outside world, I will get glimpses of it, but they won't last. And this is not me claiming that this is true. This is not for me to believe or for you to believe in. It's a suggestion of a map to go out and navigate. If my sense of peace is my nature, then why do I right now don't feel it? One way is to book a spa retreat and go meditate in the mountains or something. Nothing wrong with that. But I cannot afford to live there my whole life. Another option, if I follow the non-dual map, is to see what's veiling it. Why am I not feeling peaceful right now? Let's go explore. And if I find this source, this place inside, or this part of me where I can always access peace, I can go back and forth to the mountain spa retreat, but I will not expect it to be the provider of the peace I long for. No, that's available all the time. And there's like a puzzle for me within these discussions of spirituality, of understanding reality, that I've participated in as well, but I really don't understand it. It's like we argue who has the best map, who has the correct answer to where happiness is found, to where love is found. Well, for me, even though I participated, even though I play the game, it's not so interesting, is it? Because we all get to choose which map we want to follow. And if this guy over there follows a map, then I'm like, yeah, I think he's wrong. I don't think that's going to get him to happiness. I don't need to fight with him over that. Reality will show us. Is he finding happiness there? Well, then maybe I want to take a look at his map. If he's not, well, he can go out wander in the bushes. Life, reality, the territory will inform us of which map is right. I can sit back in the cabin and argue with my fellow travelers all I want that my map is the one that's correct. Or I could just go out, explore the territory, find out the little edges where perhaps my map is not complete. Might even be pointing to something that's a bit flawed. And when I find that the way I operate the world right now, there's something off with the map, I don't go fight with reality. And I think we've all done this. I've done this. One thing that comes to mind was I thought there was a way that, I don't know, society operated. I had this utopian belief that if you did well, if you were competent, if you supported your colleagues, if you did everything in the right way, you would be rewarded. So basically, if you were higher up in an organization, it's because you were honorable, you were competent, you were really contributing to the well-being of people in the organization. And that might be true. But I've also seen quite a lot of suggestions where that's not true. You don't get promoted necessarily because you are very competent and very compassionate. And when I was younger, in my 20s, I was very certain that I want the world to work like this. So I kept pushing reality into the map that made sense to me. And that cost me a lot of troubles, a lot of pain, a lot of frustration. And I still think it's a beautiful map to have, but it doesn't navigate work life the way I expected it. And fighting that my map is right, I gives frustration for everyone. Realizing what's actually happening out there, I can keep playing with reality. I can change it. I can make decisions. But the terrain is the interesting thing, not the map, not how I would like the reality to be, not how I would like it to work, not that I would really, really want this map to be correct. What's interesting is reality. What is reality? What's the territory? So why did I have this long speech? Well, basically, the thing that I'm passionate about is exploring the terrain. And I want to invite you along for the journey. And I'm pretty certain I don't have the correct map. In fact, I'm pretty certain none of us do. But imagine if we're all out there exploring the terrain, gathering in the evenings around the fire, telling each other what we saw, what we experienced, what part of the map that we follow actually seemed to be working. Imagine the places we could go to in the world. We could avoid the absolute muddiest places and go to the sparkling waterfalls. Not because we have to, but because we have a map that guides us to where we want to go. And if we want to go play in the mud, well, we know where to find it. Yeah. Mm. The map will be wrong. Words I say on this channel will be wrong. Thoughts you have in your head will be wrong. And that's part of the journey. Our minds can never tell us what reality is. But reality can. And we get to play around in it. In fact, we are it. Yeah. Well, I think that was my ponderings for today. And thank you for joining me in this little reflection. I would love to hear your thoughts about this. So please do share in the comment section. And I hope to see you next time, my friend.